The top of the Empire State Building.
Z100 New York.
Hey, yo, what up? It's Z100, New York's #1 hit music station. I'm Josh Martinez with my guest, Jojo. What's going on, girl?
Hey, Josh. Just living the dream.
Deadass. You really are, though.
I really am.
Listen, the whole being Satine on Broadway is mind-blowing for so many different ways. What was the biggest challenge for you, jumping in from, music, and, I mean, you did the acting thing on the big screen, now going to kind of that one take, no strings attached type of live event?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was challenging to be like, okay, that show's done, and maybe I didn't feel perfect about it, but I get to do it again, either again that night or, again the next day. Like Wednesdays we have 2 shows and Saturdays we have 2 shows. And you just kind of got to give it your all, the best where you're at, and then accept that and keep moving. And you get different chances. You get to play with different things. And the schedule of it all is pretty crazy, though. Like, Broadway is 8 shows a week.
What's that cardio like?
That cardio is real. And that's why after these interviews this morning, actually, I'm going to the gym. And like, I think it's important to do something harder than the show, so then the show isn't as hard.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that interval training, that weight training, whatever, like that hit, whatever it is that you do, I think it's good to do that, because I'm like, how could somebody do this role, which is 12 costume changes backstage, you're flying down from the ceiling, you're being lifted and twisted and, all this stuff. I'm like, if your cardio is kind of lacking, you're kind of screwed.
You mentioned the swing gimmick coming down. That's kind of your introduction to everyone. I was can table this past Friday night. Took off to be there. Might be a fan of yours. Minor details.
Thank you.
But seeing you drop, like I was like directly under, right? So like seeing that drop, I was like, oh, and I'm a little bit afraid of heights. What is that like on your end when you're the one kind of dropping down?
I mean, they could go faster now. Like I'm into it now. I thought that I might be a little scared, but it's actually, I feel super safe. It's old bag now. I'm just like, I actually come down from the ceiling twice. The second time is faster, and what an entrance. Like I've always wanted to be a part of a production with like this level of production and set design and like all this amazing things happening. So it's a dream.
The first time you came down, rehearsal or whatever, what was that initial feeling like when you kind of look down and they're dropping you slowly? Or was it like a slow thing purposely to build it up?
Yeah, they built me up to it, and I'm strapped in, and then I just like seductively take the, whatever, what is this
Strapping
called?
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and I unhook myself, and then I come down, blah, 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 and I was scared at first for sure, but just like with anything, once you do it a few times, it loses, you master it, and it's okay. I jumped out of a plane a couple years ago for the first time, bugging. But I was like, I did it with one of my best friends, and we were just like, let's not do what we would normally do on your birthday, which is like,
turn up,
get drunk, exactly.
Cake.
Yeah, so we were like, let's challenge ourselves and do something that we're terrified of. And so that's the season I'm in right now.
You could have just took like 3 shots of tequila, because you could be afraid of that too.
No.
Damn, girl.
I'm not afraid of 3 shots of tequila.
You're better than me at this age, girl. I like my feet right here under me on the ground where I'm in control.
Yeah, no, I
personally.
get that.
That's just me.
But I'm trying to work on relinquishing control and like understanding like what kind of, I don't know, like what is really in my control and what do I want to experience.
Why the jump to Broadway? And why now?
So I actually saw the touring production of Moulin Rouge when it opened in LA at the Pantages Theater. I live in LA. And I had been seeing a lot of shows. I had seen my friend Angelica Ross in Chicago on Broadway. I had seen Adrienne Warren and Tina. And I had seen like, some stuff at the Pantages. And I was just like, man, it was just stirring in my soul that I really want to do musical theater. And I had since I was a kid. I actually started doing that when I was like 6 years old. That was how I got into performing. And I always knew that it was a dream to be on Broadway. And the timing was super divine. I wanted to get the F out of LA and to like be distracted. I like just really wasn't ready to work on new music. And I wanted a platform to be able to showcase what I can do as an entertainer, which is, not just stand there and sing, but to really, to also be a part of a community and to make myself proud. And so I get to do all those things.
By the way, for the record, you could say whatever you want. We could curse.
Okay, cool.
I went to LA once, and yeah, fuck LA.
You've been to LA just once?
Just once, and that was enough for me to be like, I don't want to go unless I have to go.
Dog, I've lived there for 12 years,
better
and I'm
than
just
me.
like, what am I doing? I've been like draining my soul slowly, but being here is giving me life again. Like, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from south of Boston, and I just think that this is more in line with how I feel right now and what's good for me. And I'm not shitting on LA, and it's.
I will. Don't worry.
Okay, you could do that for us. I just don't think it's like, I just think I've done my time there, and I like change.
Aside from Satine, what would you say is your dream role at the moment, knowing all that you know that goes kind of behind the scenes of putting together this massive production?
I need a better answer for this because I don't have. I don't have one. I don't have that answer. You know, there's a lot of great iconic roles like Roxy Hart in Chicago and Elphaba and Wicked, and there's a lot of amazing things. I think of Cabaret. I think of, you know, Six, where there's a lot of pop singing and stuff like that. I'd love to originate a role. I'd love to be a part of a revival or of writing the music for something, like, you know, how Sarah Bareilles did with Waitress. So there's a lot of things that I'm exploring and talking about with different creatives, and it takes a long time to develop a musical, but I am so invested in this. I love this community. I feel like a kid again. I'm so inspired, and I just think I want to be a part of this world.
For the record, I think that you doing Mimi in Rent.
Oh my God! How did I forget about Mimi and Rent? Let me tell you a story about that. So I got really, really close actually to doing the TV version of that. It was up against me, Halsey, and Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah,
And she got it. Vanessa Hudgens got it. And I'm like, damn! If I had more followers, I really think that I ate that role. I was, and she did too. She's so good. I'm so proud of Vanessa, and she did a great job. I'm not shitting on that at all, but I also did really good. So I was gonna do that in the TV version. You know, when they do the live productions and stuff. So I would love to play Mimi. How did I forget about that? Yeah, Rent is dope.
Yeah, so I always said that Rent was my favorite musical of all time until I saw Moulin Rouge, and I
Okay.
can't hold you. That shit is up there now.
Yeah?
Now, I've seen Rent so many times, and the movie included, and all that stuff. And I've seen Moulin Rouge once. I never saw the movie, so this was my first time kind of knowing anything about.
So you went in totally cold?
Yeah, completely.
What
cold.
did you think? Were you like let me not put words in your mouth.
No. I was blown away by everything.
Yeah.
Right, and then I find
It's
out that
spectacular.
that the music is more like over the last 20 years compared to what the movie was back in the day or whatever with Ewan McGregor and why am I blanking on her name?
Nicole Kidman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I will say, and I'm not really spoiling anything, because I think if you, like, literally within, like, 10 minutes of the play, you kind of know where it's going, right? But I was dead-ass, like, when a certain character passed away, I dead-ass had my hands like, the fuck? Because it just kind of happens, and, like, there wasn't, like, and I'm not trying to I hope this doesn't come off,
Oh
like,
my
negative,
God, no, it's fine.
But it just happens.
It's written in a certain way,
Yeah.
to where that's how it is, and there's really nothing you can do about that.
The only other time I saw like death in a musical was Rent and Angel.
How about Sweeney Todd? Have you seen that?
No, I've never seen
A lot of
Sweeney
death.
Todd. Well, yeah, homeboy's out here just slitting throats for
Slitting
funsies.
throats, yeah, he's just going crazy.
But yeah, no, I literally threw my hands up, and then like the guard next to me was kind of like he put his head down and started giggling, or whatever. Because I was like, am I the only? Apparently, I was the only one that was
didn't
like,
know,
in shock and awe. Like this shit just because, like I said, it just kind of happens.
And then the character that plays opposite the character that dies is like, what? You know what? You're dying? Yeah, bro. The fuck? Where have you been? You're not paying attention.
Which, by the way, I needed to Google consumption.
Yeah, I didn't know what
that.
consumption was either. Tuberculosis.
And then it turned out that like I used to see it back in the day in like Oregon Trail.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's that?
You don't know what Oregon Trail is?
No.
Oregon Trail?
Oh, is that a video game?
The computer game from like back in the day in school, where you would die from like a snake bite.
Oh.
No, you don't remember.
No,
Yeah, you're the worst
I was playing a lot
millennial.
of Sims and stuff though. I'm not a terrible millennial.
Yeah, I don't know,
I think
dog.
I'm a really good millennial.
You know what? We might have to put that to the test with like TRL trivia one day.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I'm a part of TRL. I should
You are.
know. I should know these things.
I will say, as we kind of wrap up in just a little bit, it's never a good thing to fangirl, but I ain't gonna hold you. I've been a fan of yours since 2004.
Oh, thank you.
Listen to the CD.
I'm a fangirl of people. I love it. It's great.
I think that your cover of Weak is one of the most underappreciated, underrated covers ever.
Oh, thank you.
Listen to your CD when I was working at a summer camp on Staten Island and also warming up to play baseball. And like kids would sing along, like the boys would sing along to like whatever I was singing, because like especially Get Out, obviously, which is an iconic song to this day. This Thursday, the album turns 19.
That's crazy. This Thursday?
This Thursday. The 22nd.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, so we're coming up on 20 years next year.
You got any plans for 20?
I do have plans. I'm writing a memoir, and I'm ready to unburden myself with all of the stories that no one knows. Like, I've just been protecting people and maybe my own ego for a long time. So I'm really excited to like have conversations not only with myself, but like open up these conversations about fame and being so young, and you know how gross the industry can be, and just also what fame can do to a young mind, and family stuff and men stuff and women stuff, and just I'm ready to lay it all out there. So yeah, 20 years we'll be celebrating with that.
If you could go back in time and tell little Jojo one bit of advice as she's signing the record contract. She's going to sign it no matter what. Mm-hmm. But one bit of advice you could tell her, what would it be? Knowing what you know now.
Don't ever hitch yourself to anyone else's wagon. Don't ever, stop pursuing what makes you come alive. Because, executives or managers or even well-meaning people can really discourage you, particularly at a young age. So I would say just keep your blinders on. And, but that's hard to do. It's hard to like take advice when you're so young. It's always hindsight 2020.
Of course.
And I always think the best advice is to be kind to everyone. I really think that that's like across the board the best piece of advice, and you can never go wrong with that.
No, 1,000%. And I also think that if nothing else, the people that you meet going up are the people you're going to meet coming down.
Yeah, and life is so cyclical, and it is a roller coaster, and everybody goes up and down. So you might as well try to not take things too seriously. Another thing that I love to think about, or a piece of advice, is nothing is the end of the world except for the actual end of the world. Like, your story will continue and you can be resilient as long as you keep going. You get to write your story. You can change the narrative at any time. You are the main character, and you can decide, I don't like being the victim, or I don't like being the villain. So switch it up. Choose a different role. You can.
It's interesting because as you're saying that, I immediately thought of a song of yours that I resonated with at the age of 2004. So I was 15 that summer. Keep On Keeping On.
I wrote that when I was 12, and that came out on my 13-year-old album, and that's really dope. It's actually very emotional for me to listen to that song, because it's like my 12-year-old self was like speaking into herself and other kids, and particularly I was speaking to myself as someone who comes from a very humble beginning, and poor kids pouring cold water in their cereal, secondhand clothes, surviving is pivotal, praying to God at night things will get better soon. Like, I was very deep. and that still resonates now. I'm like, you got to keep on keeping on, got to keep your head up high, work with what you got, and someday you will fly. I mean, I'm getting like choked up thinking about it, because wow, I was wise beyond my years. I was.
Talk your shit, queen. No, but I think it's interesting because, like I said, I could only talk about myself, right? I'm a 15-year-old dude who grew up in the hood and whatnot. And the only reason why I played baseball that summer is because I got a job at McDonald's, and I was able to pay for my own CD player to get your CD and to play baseball that summer, for example. So I had 2 jobs, summer camp and McDonald's. And I think that even though you mention girl in the song, I think that there's a lyric about a duplex girl sitting on, on this duplex steps. It didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It was like, she's
like
talking
you.
to me, dog.
Yes.
Like, even though 15, you're still wise enough to kind of flip it around and put it on yourself.
That means so much to me. Thank you for telling me that.
Nah, it's all good, girl. Listen, I think that you need to know that. I think that we need to give flowers when they're supposed to be given, and not wait for, something quote unquote bad to happen. And, I ain't gonna front. This is 18 years in the making for me personally.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I text a couple people, you know what I'm saying? Text a couple friends who were like, oh shit. They were kind of hyped for me, kind of gassed. But with that being said, what can we expect from you for the rest of the year? You got, you know what I'm saying, Moulin Rouge for the rest of the summer, but what are we doing after that?
After that, I'm going to really lock into this memoir and finish it. I have a deadline, and then, going to go through different drafts and editing and all that. And then I have some tour dates, and then I'm going to start working on new music because I feel really inspired and really ready. And I am going to work with some people who I'm like super gassed about, and just like create a little world and blow my own mind with how good it can be. I'm really excited. Like, doing Broadway has really reinvigorated my inspiration, and living in New York, there's nothing like it. So I might move here.
Say that one more time. There's nothing like what city?
There's nothing like New York City, baby.
Listen,
I love it.
As someone who's born and raised here and hates everything, you hear me?
You hate everything.
Everything about Boston.
Fuck off.
Here's what I will say.
Fuck you.
For 18 years, and this is a quote, it literally was my MySpace name at one point.
Fuck Boston?
No.
Oh.
Only two good things ever came out of New England. Clam chowder and Jojo. And that is something that I have been saying since I was like 15, 16 years old. And you talk about inspiration. When I started my radio career, there were two tattoos I wanted to get. One of them was the One Train, because I took that every day for my internship in radio, first job in radio, first on-air job in radio. And then I wanted to do something music-related because clearly I'm in music. And then I saw a picture, and I was like, that's it. I, too, will be married to music. So...
Oh that's so crazy. I was peeping that, and I'm like, does he know that I have that?
Yeah. I guess I was looking for something, saw it on you, and I was like, I hope people don't kind of put two and two together that I'm like D-riding, but like if people find out, it is what it is. Cause
I love that.
I've been a fan for a while, but
you're the best.
It just happened to kind of line up with when I was looking for a tattoo that I just happened to see a picture.
I take the One Train too as well, so that is I'll actually be taking it later today.
There you go. Jojo's out here in the New York City transit system, baby. One more time, one of the two things to come out of Boston that is positive. Jojo, appreciate you stopping through, girl.
Thank you so much.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
C100.